we start Module 5. The title is JSP Expression Language. So usually we call it EL. Yeah. So this technology is very useful. So mainly it can help us display data in a very easy way. Yeah. So we will, in this module, we will learn how to use this technology well. All right. Before we start, I like to talk about the results of the midterm test. There are several questions I feel I need to explain. Yeah. All right. I will use two parts, part 1, part 2. Yeah. For the first part, look at the first question. The first question, actually, it is not very easy. Yeah. So there is some, hidden thing most of you may not be, quite pay attention to it. Yeah. So here it is. In a Java web application, can we say that a JSP file in any subdirectory? Did you try to think about this? Any subdirectory? Because there are some subdirectory very special. Yeah. So here I just say any subdirectory. Yeah. Think about one subdirectory, web-inf. How about this subdirectory? If you put a JSP file, JSP file in this subdirectory, can you use it as a welcome file? You can. You cannot, right? You cannot. So you cannot. The reason is simple. Because the outside users, they cannot access anything inside this directory. They cannot access any resource under this directory through URL. But for the welcome file, people can only access it through URL way, right? So for that reason, it is not true. But, the miss rate of this question is very high. I think those students, so they didn't consider this special directory here. Yeah. So that's the problem. Okay? Yeah. We had a similar question in homework number 1. In that question, I talk about web-inf directory, right? So think about, web-inf. Although not connect to the welcome file. So in that one, when I talk about forward redirect, at that time, when I talk about forward redirect, I use this web-inf. Then for this test, I change to welcome file. Yeah. So then, so many students missed this one. Yeah. All right. Number 4. Can we use a servlet as a welcome file? The answer is no. The reason is very simple. First, our servlet. All right. Servlet has 2 parts. Physical file, remember? Physical, Java file. Physical, so that's the Java file. .java or .class file, okay? Yeah. Then, logical. Physical and logical. Logical is the URL pattern. Yeah. Physical URL 2. The physical file in web-inf. Remember, all the compiled Java class file will go to web-inf classes. Then all the, usually you may have packages, under that one, So you can see you're not allowed to access directly. All right, But for the logical URL pattern, there is no physical file. And the welcome file must connect to a physical file. Okay? Must connect to a physical file. The server will search the location, try to get that physical file. So the URL pattern, no physical file found, so then resource not found. All right. But to do that, remember our project 1, the first thing you need to do, project 1, we can create a index.jsp. In that file, we can redirect, remember, redirect to servlet URL, okay? Servlet URL, okay? That's the way we use. So when I talk about project 1, so I will talk about this question another time. All right. Number 5, if a variable has a method scope, can we use it in a JSP declaration? Answer is no. First, you need to understand JSP declaration, this type of element uses class scope, not method scope. Class scope is bigger than method scope, okay? Class scope. And the method scope is inside the class, okay? Method scope. All right, so the declaration exists in this part, outside the method scope, okay? Outside the method scope, declaration, Now you have a variable inside. So then you cannot use out of it. Okay? You cannot use out of it. So that's this question. Question number 8. So this question, I explained this issue in one video. Comparing the null value and empty string value. They are different related to parameter. So when you send a parameter, under what situation you get empty string, and on what situation you get a null object when you retrieve it. So it's like this. Empty string case, the parameter name can be found. So when you send the data, the name is there, right? Remember, so when we send the data, the name, for example, p name, that's our parameter name, equals nothing. Okay, empty. Then something else. The name you can find it. Okay, so in that case, you get an empty string. So what is the null value? Null value. Okay, so the name cannot be found. Okay, So when you send data, anywhere in the HTTP request, there is no place you can find such a parameter name. In that situation, you get a null object. That's the main difference. The name you can find, but the value is nothing. That's the empty string. Okay? Yeah. So try to see the difference. Yeah. So that's this question, number 8. Yeah. Number 11. Yeah. Here, related to the class loading thing. So here I said all the Java classes on the hard drive will be loaded automatically. It's not. Think about it. All the Java classes on your machine, it could be huge number. It's not necessary to load all of them, right? Only in some very specific location, the JVM, the server, will load. Okay? So I talk about the class loader concept. Class loader. In the class loader concept, there are 3 locations. Remember? 1, 2, 3 locations. Yeah. Here, I do not specify it. Yeah. So you can find it easily. 3. Actually, we have a question. Remember? We have a multiple choice question. A, B, in our homework assignment, D. Okay? I list 4 options. 3 options belong to the class loader. Yeah. But there is 1 option not corresponds to any location in the class loader. So you cannot load from there. Yeah. So that's related to the class loader. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. That's this question. Yeah. The last question of this part 1, casting. Related to casting. Here, these 2 ways are different. So some students get confused. So they feel for both ways, we need to do casting. It's not. The first way, look at the get parameter. Get parameter, this method always return a string. You already return a string object. You do not need to cast to anything. It is a valid string object. Okay? Yeah. So you just create a string object to store the return value. No casting. Yeah. But for the second, the attribute, it return an object. Yeah. Yeah, capital object. It return capital object. Okay? Then you need to do casting. Yeah. So that's this question. Yeah. All right, so we finish part 1. Next, I will